I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and in my childhood home, we had a piano that we got from my cousin. He was a professional jazz musician in New York, and his mom had this old piano, gave it to our family. So growing up, I had a piano in the house, and over time, I just became curious, and I started to just mess around on it and look at the books that were in the piano bench that came with it. And so at some point, my parents gave me lessons because they saw that I was interested in it. So I studied classical piano for many years until maybe freshman or sophomore year of high school. During that time, I also played saxophone in the jazz band. I played percussion in concert band and in marching band. So I was kind of interested in all these different things. And towards the end of high school, I really got serious about saxophone. So fast forward a little bit. During my undergrad, my main mentors were Brad Good and John Gunther from CU Boulder. And I started playing in a touring band with them towards the end of my studies. And that kind of gave me my start into music and playing professionally. I've performed with the Colorado Symphony, Colorado Springs Philharmonic, Central City Opera. I play at jazz clubs around town. I'm doing all sorts of things. Occasionally I go on tour and travel to play music, but mostly I play in the local scene here. If I had to sum up my teaching philosophy in one word, I would probably say patience. I really love to do hands-on teaching with students. I like to meet students where they are and to kind of help them master fundamentals that maybe are blocking them from progressing. So that changes for each student. So I try to pay attention to kind of what the needs of each student are and to just be patient and kind of help them where they are, like meet them where they are. It's really important to not just bombard students with information that they don't understand 100%, because at some point they're gonna be like Swiss cheese and have all these holes in their education. So I really try to take the time to help students master fundamentals. That way they have a great jumping off point for their studies through the rest of their life. In a typical week, students in the jazz program, they have 2 ensembles that they participate in. So either that's going to be big band and a small group or 2 small groups. There's also the option for students to play in classical ensembles. So I have saxophone students that they've taken a choir ensemble and sung in one of the choirs that they could get into here. So you have a lot of options and a lot of flexibility to explore different genres. In addition to that, students can be found in classes for jazz at the keyboard, so working on basic piano skills, which is very important for any musician, regardless of what instrument you play. Especially saxophonists, we can only play one note at a time. So to be able to understand how everything works harmonically is very helpful. So everybody has to take that class. Also, for the first, I think, 3 years of the degree, each year you have a different level of a jazz improvisation and composition class. So students are learning about composition, improvisation, jazz theory and music theory in general. In addition to that, students also have their academic studies, so different writing classes and electives, so that way they can have a well-rounded education outside of music. Each ensemble has a concert every quarter that the students prepare for. Additionally, there's a community outreach program here at DU that students who are dedicated and hardworking, they can be put on a list where they are hired for different private events or community outreach gigs. And I know students who've had a lot of gigs through that. Different professors on faculty here will hire students for their own gigs outside of school. One of the great things about Denver is that there are a lot of jam sessions and a lot of like professional music happening in venues around town. So a lot of students take advantage of going out to play with really world-class musicians that live here in Denver, sit in at their gigs, play at open jam sessions, which really is one of the best ways to learn, because music can't be learned in a vacuum. It's about community and learning from people through mentorship, playing together. So I think that's a strength of being here in Denver. Nowadays in the music industry, you really have to have your foot in the door in a lot of different genres. To have a full career where you're working full-time as a performing musician, meaning people need to understand classical music, pop music, funk music, jazz, bluegrass, different fusions and world musics as well. And I think the University of Denver is a great place to explore a lot of different genres, because you have students who are interested in jazz. You have the opportunity as a jazz student to play in classical ensembles, and vice versa. Classical students can play in jazz ensembles. You have a bluegrass ensemble. You have different African drumming ensembles, which myself, I've played a lot with a drummer from Ghana. So those skills can really help you, because there are a lot of musicians in the world, and the more you learn, the more opportunities you have. So DU is definitely a great place to explore all of the avenues, and that's going to help you to be a versatile musician. There's a big culture at DU of students making their own bands. At any given time in the student population, I think there are 10 or even more bands. So students are working hard together to make their own music, record their own music here in the recording studio, which all students can take advantage of that. It's just a place where you have a lot of students who are excited about music, making creative projects. You have a local music scene where you can go out and learn from professionals who've been doing this longer than you have. And you also have performance opportunities at the school. So if you want to be a performing musician, these are all really important things to kind of, I guess, make a foundation for a good career.